The lightest AR-15 we've ever fired coming up. What is up, guys? My name is John with PewPewTactical.com, your definitive source for gun reviews, gear guides, and all things that go bang. We probably don't need to tell you that the AR-15 is one of the most lightweight rifles ever created. But what if unspecified yet vague and extreme circumstances call for something even lighter? Enter the Battle Arms Development OIP, an ultra-lightweight AR-15 type rifle that comes in at just 3.8 pounds, or approximately half the weight of a standard AR. Because ounces equals pounds, and pounds equals pain, and therefore ounces equals pain because of the transitive property of mathematics. We had the opportunity to drive out to Vegas and link up with Battle Arms at Gunship Gun Range, who were nice enough to let us plink with the OIP in between flying normies around in a helicopter with an M249 mounted on the side through Beggars Canyon. You can check the description below for links to Gunship Gun Range, Battlefield Vegas, who were nice enough to let us shoot pretty B-roll on their tanks, and a link back to our website for the full review of the OIP. The first thing that you're going to notice about the OIP is the weight, obviously. But man, it really cannot be overstated just how light this thing is. Originally, we had assumed that the OIP was geared more for competition than anything, as you can definitely get booking with this gun if that's your jam. However, Battle Arms informed us that it's intended more for survival purposes than anything else. Although we have no doubt that it probably could fill both of those niches pretty solidly, it's worth noting that the OIP is actually so light that it takes some getting used to transitioning between multiple targets without sweeping right past them. Which is definitely not a problem that we've experienced before, but that obviously begins to diminish the more trigger time you get with it. I felt comfortable enough to start speeding up after about 5 or 6 magazines. But enough about all of that, onto the gun. The OIP is a blast to shoot, and I mean that literally. The titanium muzzle brake helps mitigate a significant amount of recoil, which is crucial for a diet AR-15, but good lord is it unpleasant if you are anywhere else but behind the gun while shooting it. Rest assured that your friends on the firing line will hate you. Even though this thing is firmly in the Gucci price range, it ate a ton of lower tier Serbian PPU M183 with no issues. The gun's got weight-saving cuts where you'd expect, with a minimalist carbon fiber M-LOK handguard up front, a skeletonized magwell and pistol grip, and a simple fixed-stock aluminum buffer tube with a small metal butt plate. A pencil profile 14.5-inch pinned barrel and various other titanium components, such as the bolt carrier group, significantly cut down on the heft throughout the rifle. The stock actually provided pretty close to a perfect length of pull for me, but your mileage may vary. Overall, the stock was actually surprisingly comfortable to shoot as well, especially considering I was wearing a tank top and still have some fresh bruises from some larger caliber guns I was shooting this past weekend. An interesting design choice is the total lack of any included optics rail outside of a small Picatinny section on the front of the receiver just aft of the handguard. While this gives you enough real estate to mount a smaller red dot, you're definitely not going to be adding anything much larger. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to shoot 100-yard groups with the OIP due to a bit of a time constraint, but we were able to nail mid-sized steel targets with the mounted MRO repeatedly with no issues. While we're pretty positive that this gun could be pushed a bit past that range comfortably, the lack of the ability to mount a magnified optic is going to be a bit of a hindrance, and that's not really what the gun was designed for. The fire controls are about what you'd expect with the addition of an ambidextrous safety, which I personally quite enjoy. The trigger pull is clean and breaks nicely, and the included Rock River Arms 2-stage national match trigger is a decent improvement over your standard Milspec fare. Maybe the only small issue we encountered during our time with the OIP is the occasional habit the charging handle has of tapping you on the nose when the bolt locks back on an empty magazine, though it's really more of an odd sensation than anything else and it doesn't hurt, so can you count it as a problem? The gun's certainly got a hefty price tag, coming in at about $3,200 at the time of this filming. But if you absolutely cannot live without the most minimal, featherweight AR currently on the market, we would absolutely take a look at the Battle Arms Development OIP. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel as we've got lots more reviews on the way. We also wanted to throw a shout out to Gunship Gun Range, Battlefield Vegas, and Battle Arms Development for letting us use their studio. Once again, my name is John with Pew Pew Tactical, and we will see you next time.